BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
Welcome to Rice TVx. On today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show, I am joined by fellow content creator Papajo from the Papajo Show, and I invited him on so I can learn more about him and his YouTube channel. Before we get into it, visit ricecrypto.com and sign up for my mailing list so you never miss an update or new Rice TVx content. You will also find my various social media links and more. You can also find Rice TVx on Odyssey and Library, where I have a full catalog of my videos, post up extra content, and share other appearances. And you can also find Rice TVx on BitChute. To support Rice TVx directly, you can contribute or send tips to PayPal, to Cash App, or cryptocurrencies via my Cointree link in the video description. Everything is appreciated. Another way to support what I do is by joining my Patreon channel, where you will get early access to some of my videos, exclusive content, and more. Get your free half ounce of silver. Take full advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange in 5 easy steps. 1. Visit moneymetals.com. 2. Be a first-time buyer. 3. Purchase a minimum of $100. 4. Use the promo code RICE. 5. Get a free half ounce of silver, and it's an additional way to support the channel. I will include links in the video description for everything I just mentioned, as well as everything shared on today's video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on today's episode of the Rice Crypto Show is the host of the Papajo Show. This is Papajo. Papajo, thanks for coming on the show, man. How's everything going with you today?
Everything's going great, man. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. I really appreciate it. Been doing good. Been going crazy, but good.
Awesome. It's good to hear, man. And I will let people know that everything we talk about, I'm going to have linked down below in the video description. You do have a YouTube channel, and I would definitely encourage people to go over and subscribe. We were having a really good conversation before we started recording, and I was trying to kill a little time there while I was doing a screen share and pulling up all this information. So we have your website, which is thepapajoshow.com, and you can find all his social media links, including his YouTube channel and his Patreon, which we're going to be sharing. So here is the YouTube channel, almost up to 2,000 subscribers. We are recording this on the 7th of March. Not sure when it's going to come out. Yeah. But if he's not already up to 2,000 subscribers and you're not already subscribed, make sure you head over to his channel, show some support, and subscribe. He's been on the show before. He has been on an episode of Crypto Rewind, and I will include that in the video description as well, so you can check that out. So tell everybody, man. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Who is Papajo?
Papajo is a coffee addict. As you can see, it's what, 8 p.m. here, and I'm drinking coffee. But no, a little bit about me, man, is at first, thanks for bringing me on. Thanks for having me here. I really do appreciate it. It is an honor for sure. And but no, yeah, I've been in the blockchain space, crypto space since late 2011. I was one of the earlier miners. I've got an IT background, so that's now up into the 20-year space, somewhere in that ballpark. But that technical nuts and bolts side of me, just like, how does this work? When I heard about Bitcoin, when I heard about mining, I was like, what's this mining thing? You can take a computer and make money with it, kind of thing. So I went and took, where I was working, they were throwing server racks away and old servers, and this was before ASICs. So if you think about a server CPU mining crypto back then, it was the next best thing to an ASIC at that point. So I was mining a lot and just having fun with it, and I would send it to friends and just try to learn how, and then have them send it back. We would eat through the Bitcoin, right? This is before I even knew it was monetary, anything to it. I was just trying to figure out how the technology worked. So once I learned what blockchain was, it was like light bulb went on. I was like, man, this is going to change humanity. Like, this is going to be a big deal once people realize what this can do in general for everyone. And yeah, that's just, for me, it was off to the races. Not necessarily for the monetary aspect of it. That came in like 2014 when I started seeing, Litecoin came along, Ethereum came along, et cetera, et cetera. As different ones came along, I was like, okay, this is really becoming something, right? So I thoroughly dug into it, and everywhere I've worked, because of how blockchain can be applied in any business, I've always tried to push the adoption of blockchain. Not necessarily crypto at a business. Crypto is where, friends and family, and now my YouTube show, my Patreon show, and then I do some live events. I'll actually speak at those, and depends on where they are, like different conferences and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. I family man, absolutely love what I do for my work and stuff like that. I do 2 shows a day, as Chris said. I do all kinds of talk about all kinds of different things. I like to focus on the economy. I like to focus on what's going on with inflation, what's going on with the Fed. I like to talk about what's going on with and then how it ties directly in with crypto, and how the world is looking and viewing into crypto, stuff like that. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, and what we kind of talk about over at the Papajo Show. That's kind of what we kind of cover there. But the Patreon is set up to where you have an unfiltered time with Papa Joe. So that's where I get to go in and say what I want and really dig into the nuts and bolts of either how something's working from a crypto or blockchain perspective, or how banking works, like really works, like behind the scenes, like what's really going on, stuff like that. Or I'll dig into current events sometimes on the Patreon show, and I'll talk about things that just should stay in a private setting. We'll put it that way. Yeah, that's just me in a nutshell, man. I appreciate that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. And like I said, man, I do like what you do. I do, we've met in person. I think you're a cool individual. I enjoyed that time you were on the show, and
Right back at you, man.
something that we did talk about, and people can stay tuned for more regarding this, but I am looking to do some things with expanding out the channel and helping out others. And one of those things would be including bringing on some contributors. So there's a possibility that you may see some Papa Joe content exclusive here on Rice TVx. So be on the lookout for that. And I'll definitely keep people up to date, because I'll probably end up, once I have some of this core team together and have some of those individuals that have YouTube channels, do some conversations together so that we can kind of introduce what's going on and also show some support to other channels. Because I remember how much stuff I had to deal with, just struggling, not knowing what I was doing.
I'm in there right now, man.
and then dealing with the censorship and shadow banning after I thought I had a better clue of what was going on.
Sure, dude. Like, you've been battling it a lot, and you've been doing amazingly well with it. And from my perspective, just watching you take care of your channel and take care of the people in your life like that, and you're doing great. And more power to you. And if I'm again honored to be able to get to learn from you, to be able to learn like the things like, hey, don't walk off that cliff, dude. Okay, I won't walk off that cliff.
Yeah,
I just saved my butt once. I'll put it that way.
Well, because you had the Patreon channel, and you were saying, some things, need to stay in the private, and that's kind of what you get to have with the Patreon, because it's kind of like a private membership association.
Yep.
And I was trying to tell you that if you even say something that you are not putting on your YouTube channel and it's unlisted or private,
yep,
and you say something that YouTube doesn't like, it could come back and really bite you in the ass.
And
ultimately,
like days later, it did.
Yeah. It's crazy how that works out, man. So like I was saying, just being able to offer up information to other content creators that are putting out something that could be deemed controversial.
Sure.
Any way that we can try to gamify this system as best as possible to be able to get these messages out, I think is, what we need to be focusing on.
It's fantastic, man. Maybe you should start a Reddit thread just for creators, just to, here's the little tips and tricks, just like they did for the Wall Street Bets guys.
Yeah, I mean, I put out some stuff on videos, but that would be a good idea. So aside from crypto, what kind of, because I was looking at your Twitter account, you say that you're a technologist, a blockchain architect, and a crypto blockchain entrepreneur. What do you mean by technologist?
Technologist. So pretty much anything technology, kind of love learning the net new related stuff when it comes to tech. So like we've got this stuff with the metaverse. We've got this stuff with like stuff that Apple's talking about doing with, like, we'll call it like they're like glasses you wear, but it's metaverse slash reality at the same time.
Augmented reality.
Thank you. That's it. Augmented reality glasses, right? So you're going to be able to have everything you have on the phone, the watch, all that fun stuff, but on a heads-up display while you're walking around doing everything. Like stuff like that. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it something that we want to, pay attention to? How is that going to affect everyday life? And then how can it be used for all kinds of different things? And then I look at that type of stuff and it just really dig into how it works, right? So when it comes to being a technologist, like I have been on the cutting edge for as long as I can remember. Pretty much anything. That's why I said, like, I got into blockchain technology at the beginning, wanting to learn what it was. Who knows how blockchain works? It's a growing number, but like the chain code down underneath the hood kind of stuff, very few people understand that. I know. I'm not a developer. I'm not a coder. I hate that. Right? That is not my cup of tea. My brain, with the way it works, is I'm very creative, but when it gets down into that, I'm like, my brain, it just overstimulation and creation. Let's put it that way. Like I could do all this stuff. So, but no, when it comes to that stuff, like that's just kind of where my mind just works in that realm. I'm more of an engineer, like you mentioned, architect, right? So where I work, we're architecting blockchain technology and the capability for them to be able to use it however, whatever way they want to. Can't talk about where I work. Very, very strict on that. But it is an IT related role within that. And that's not even my primary role there. I'm doing that on my own because I recognize that the business needs it. And that not just that business, but all of the businesses that they touch will also end up using it. Which will continue to spread like wildfire. This is what blockchain technology can do for people. That's kind of the reason I that's why I put that on the Twitters, because I actually am architecting a blockchain environment. So,
and I was curious, and I appreciate you defining that because some people would define it differently as well. So,
okay.
As far as what it means to them. So now you started a YouTube channel. You got a full-time job, you got a family, you got a life going on, and then you decided for whatever reason to start a YouTube channel. What was the whole basis for you wanting to do this? Like because it's, to me, I would think having a family, a full-time job, you already don't seem like you have a lot of free time.
I don't. And now I don't.
And then you're adding something else to the equation,
sure,
which gives you even less free time. So,
sure.
Why do you torture yourself?
I started it, and the main reason I started the channel, well, I take a step back here. For years, my family, then my wife and her family and everything, just like friends and family in general, but primarily my wife recently, especially, you really should start a YouTube channel. The reason being is because I am such a big proponent about blockchain and crypto that I really, 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 really legitimately believe that blockchain is going to be a tool that humanity can use to free itself from the constructs and different red tape, we'll call it, that we're all under from, well, to be careful, you can read between the lines there. Monetary system stuff, right? Just one of those things where I guess because I'd been in it for so long and had learned so much from the beginning up until now, I've kind of been stayed in the shadows a little bit, but I started looking at different content creators and different YouTubers, and they're coming out and they'll pump this coin and then they'll pump this next coin. And then all they're talking about is the coin. They're not talking about how the technology can be used to apply in real world settings. And that's the stuff that I feel like I bring to the table in this environment. And yeah, sure. I can look at a project and like a project meaning a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency project. And I could say whether it's going to do well or not based off of how it's been set up, who's behind it, who's invested in it, is there any investor, stuff like that for the most part. but I'm not the type of person to come out and say, buy this coin because I've already bought it kind of thing. It's one of those, if it's a good project, like I tell people about projects all the time, if they're looking for a solution that project brings to the table. A lot of
Right.
people don't realize is these cryptocurrencies and these blockchain stuff, they're businesses, they're software companies solving real world problems. And people are starting to realize that. And that's stuff that I've been involved in for so long. So to circle back all the way around here, I started it because I've been blessed for a long time with this information, and I'm talking to everyone and anyone I come in contact with, people I work with, places I work, etc. This is something. And then finally, my wife's like, why don't you just start a YouTube channel? I'm like, fine, I'll start one. We'll see what happens, see how it goes. That's my first one.
Now, you said it was your wife that suggested it?
My wife is the one who pointed me finally in the right direction. You really need to go do this. So
did you say did you say your mom as well though, or no?
No, just family in general.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking it is, and obviously don't take this the wrong way, because when I first got involved in crypto, it's like I wanted to tell everybody about it all the time, and I got on everybody's nerves. Nobody wanted to hear it. And I was like trying to force something upon people, realizing that if people wanted to know, if I'm in the cryptocurrency space and they know that, and they have questions, they'll ask me.
Eventually that started happening.
So I was wondering if your wife suggested it as a way for her to be able to not have to listen to you talk about blockchain and crypto around the house all the time. It's like,
you would be surprised, dude. One of these days, I'll get you to meet her. She is extremely smart, very much so a brilliant mind herself. And she is just into crypto as much as I am. She didn't get into it as early as I did by any means. But getting into this stuff, like she can map out like a financial plan, like all kinds of different, from a monetary side of things. She's brilliant when it comes to like doing stuff with like, let's say with residual income and crypto. Let's say take this amount if you want this return, take this amount if you want, this is the type of, if you want this type of lifestyle, here's what you have to have, and build it inside of a crypto type, we'll call it portfolio, not really portfolio, but, and we interact with each other in a very beautiful way, I would say, in that regard. Like she's all about this. Like she loves this. They watch every single show that we do, that I do on here. My kids do, which is why I try to keep my stuff really clean. Just really want to make sure that they're, not hearing dad say something shouldn't kind of thing. But no, she's just as much into this as I am, man. And that's it wasn't one of those, here, I want you to go over here and talk about it to the world, and so you get out of your system. No. She'll watch my show and then come up. She's like, where'd you learn that? Where'd that come from? I was like, tell me about this. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. So no, you're on mute.
I was. That's cool though.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mute myself to be polite so that nothing else comes through, and then sometimes I forget that I muted myself.
No, my stupid other phone and other computer over there is blowing up right now, so sorry for the background noise.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. That's why I always have learned to put my stuff on silence, and when I use when I'm doing anything work related now, I plug in directly with an Ethernet cable. I don't do the Wi-Fi thing because that can cause you problems.
Yep.
So many different things, shortcuts that I've learned that really have helped do what I do.
It's the fact that I do work full time, and I have an entirely separate desk set up over on the other side of the room here that you guys can't see. I got my computer over there, my work phone, my other stuff just blowing up. I'm like, okay, what broke? So yeah.
Well, we still, I got a few more questions. Then we'll wrap up. I definitely want to get you on the show for future episodes. I want to talk to you about your thoughts on like current events, but I wanted to kind of keep this as more of an introductory to who Papa Joe is and what your channel is about, what you're about, what your intentions and goals are. And I guess that would kind of lead me into my next question.
Sure.
What are your goals within the cryptocurrency and blockchain space to continue education, continue your channel? What are any other things that you're going to be trying to incorporate?
So right now, I guess the end goal would be to be able to put something down. Like you mentioned, I am doing all these different things, but I'd love to keep the channel rolling. I'd love to keep the Patreon rolling. This is, even if I was retired, we'll air quote that. Even if I was economically independent, we'll use that. I don't like the term retirement. Economically independent, where I don't have to actually, my money's working for me enough, right? To the point to where I'd still do the shows, because I really genuinely feel like this type of information is stuff that there are so many out there now in the crypto space, but somebody who can take that, bring it down to an understandable concept, and then take a real world event, take like current events, stuff like that, and then marry them together and apply them together. No one's really doing that. And I really feel like that's something that I bring to the table with my show. And then with the Patreon, I really get into some stuff with that, well, if you're in there, you'll see. Let's put it that way. The past couple of days have been really, really pointed at a few subjects. We'll put it that way.
Something else that you can, that I would suggest is, if you're putting out stuff that you feel like is controversial and you don't want to know on YouTube, maybe after a week of it being on Patreon, maybe you can upload it to like an Odyssey, to a BitChute, to a Rumble or something. That way you can expand out your content and let people hear that part of you. And then it gives people kind of an inside look as to what you're trying to do with the Patreon stuff. And it doesn't really have any blowback on your actual YouTube channel. And then you're spreading yourself out there, putting extra content in different places to incentivize, people to go to these other platforms and support you so they can watch different content that's not on YouTube.
Sure. I actually hadn't thought about putting it on Rumble. Really mainly because people are paying for that content at the same time.
Well, that's why I say like maybe a week.
A week maybe or two later, yeah.
Maybe if you told everybody, hey, after a week of this being on my platform, I'm going to release it publicly. So you're going to get early access to all this unfiltered stuff. And then putting it on those other platforms just kind of allows for you to be able to grow
the channel out. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
And I'm sure people would be very supportive of it. I mean, most of the time with the early access stuff I do, I mean, sometimes I'm only given like 24 hours. I usually try to give at least that.
Sure.
Sometimes there's some videos that are out there for a week or so before they come out publicly, just because of depends on the situation, how many people I've interviewed, how many videos I have. And
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a good idea, man. I'll take a look at that. I do have a Rumble account set up, and I actually was trying to do the live streams to it, but that didn't work out so well.
Was that more recently?
Yeah, I tried it a couple of weeks back, and it was okay. That didn't work. So
I haven't really messed with the live streams with Rumble. I had a
you have to like preset it or something, and then I can't do that. I don't have time to do the preset. Like I'm literally going. Those of you just like my regular YouTube show stuff is done 12:30 Eastern every day, barring anything crazy happening. But I will let you know if it does. Anyways, I literally, that's my time to break my day up. Like I pause, that's my lunch break, whatever you want to call it. I take time from work and I step aside and say, okay, this allows me to just unwind a little bit, because this is relaxing stuff to me. And taking this extra time that I have to go and preset that is no, that doesn't work. I just don't have the time. So there's literally seconds that every second counts whenever I go and do that. The show prep and then do the live show and then, yeah, anyway.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. I mean, I was working a part-time job up until January of 2020. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was going to school. And then I was working a part-time job and then went full-time into this. So I mean, I totally understand, man. I totally do.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, before we started recording, asking about the contributing thing, what your goals are, what would you need to be in this game full time? Because the more of us that think have these good intentions of really bringing good education and trying to really help empower others, there needs to be more people like that out here doing this.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And for me, I mean, I'm happy to be part of it. Just put it that way.
So with crypto, man, like what you mentioned a few things, but if you had to pick 3 things about cryptocurrency and blockchain that you like the most, what would those 3 things be?
We'll start with blockchain. Three things that would blockchain mean for me is that the underlying technology cannot be stopped.
Immutable,
We'll
or you
call it
mean
immutability, but
censorship resistant?
yes, it is. But to some degree, there are certain pieces that are censorable. It depends on the blockchain. When I say it cannot be stopped, I mean from an infrastructure standpoint.
Let's
So
just use Bitcoin as a good example.
okay, that's fair.
That way, we stick to it. You don't have to go like, well, if it's this, or that, because
That's fair. Everyone, that's a good level set. Everyone understands that. So from an infrastructure standpoint, it cannot be stopped, right? The only way mining stops is if the country that it's sitting in, they shut the power off to the entire country, or if they turn the internet off to the entire country. And that's neither of those are going to happen just to turn off mining. The equipment is distributed and decentralized. There is a difference. Just because something's distributed, it could be in like 3 or 4 places and it's considered distributed. Decentralized means that there is no central location, not even 3 or 4 centralized locations. So the reason I do it that way, I like it. That is one of the key factors to me that make blockchain technology unstoppable. Other things about blockchain is that it also, because of the other features it has, like the smart contracts, I call them little AIs, because that's really kind of what it is. When you go in and you program a smart contract, it is an automated piece of software that automates it. It is built to do certain things based off of predefined business logic. When I say business logic, a business could implement blockchain technology, let's say, in their supply chain, or for their medical records if they're medical, or whatever. You have an unstoppable database, effectively, because that's what it is. It's literally a database that's everywhere and yet nowhere, and it's compute power that's everywhere and yet nowhere. So if you could have an AI system running on a device that is everywhere and yet nowhere, and the entire business ran on something that is streamlined, that solves business problems, that brings money back into the business, that allows the business to actually become really nimble, and it allows them to actually be able to advance in the world in what they do as a business. So those are a couple of things I like about blockchain as far as cryptocurrency is concerned. Since we're talking about Bitcoin, it's a form of investment now that I think on the world stage, as we've seen recently, that the world is going to start moving more and more fiat into it as a safe haven, like they've done historically for gold and silver. They're still going to do gold and silver. They're still going to probably do other commodities, because those are things that are, in a time like we're seeing right now, they're going to go up in value because people need them and they're becoming more and more scarce. Bitcoin is a scarce commodity. I call it a commodity or a currency or technology, whatever you want to call it. It's technology first and foremost. It's technology. But you have to understand, the world has never had cryptocurrency in a time like this. We've had multiple booms and busts throughout history. The world's never had something that they could take fiat and easily move it into something. In the past, is actually take the money out of the bank and then go into a gold exchange or silver exchange and buy the gold and silver, so you had something that blocked your purchasing power. People did that. Now it's bank account transfer into crypto, and it's just like you would transfer to another bank account. And that's something the world's never seen before. And then we can go on and on and on about that. But those are some of my things I really like about this environment.
Cool, man. I like that. That's a good answer. And I definitely look forward to like brainstorming some ideas with you about, contributing content to the channel, because I definitely feel like you can add some value and cover some things in a different way than I would cover. And we have a lot of similar views, but there's enough difference that I like.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like
it. That's the good thing. Like, you and I will talk about different things. And this is one of the things I love about spending time with you and talking to you and stuff like that. And the time we've gotten to meet and spend time with each other face to face and everything. Like, you bring a perspective to a specific subject that I never thought about, and vice versa. And that's really, really cool. And I think that when people can do that, like, you have a coin sitting on the desk, well, I can see this side of it, and you're on the other side of the desk, you can see that side of it. I can't see that side of it. So this gives that's perfect. Really, really good type of give everyone a full perspective, or an attempt to give full perspective.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah, and that's why I try to bring on a variety of guests to like bring those different perspectives, and even try to bring on guests about stuff that I may not agree with, just so I can challenge what I think I know so that we can solidify the things that we individually actually do know. That's how we strengthen ourselves, sharpen ourselves, and
Precisely.
always got to stay open to learn though.
Yes. If
I've
you're
learned
not
that
willing,
with age.
if you're not willing to learn, you have chosen to stop growing. You don't grow unless you're stretched. It's just the way it works. Iron sharpens iron. I'll use that phrase.
Well, that's a good one. All right, brother. Well, I really enjoyed it. We're definitely going to have to do some more conversations together, on the channel, on and off the record, privately and publicly. So before we wrap up, any final thoughts or anything you want to share about your content or anything you want to add before we do close up today's video?
Not really. I feel like we've covered everything other than, dude, thanks. Appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
It's all good, man. We're in this together, And, I'm trying to paraphrase the saying. I always mess it up, but it's something to the effect of like, tides raise all boats, or all boats raise all tides.
A rising tide raises
all. Yeah, I always mess it up, man. But that's the way I try to think about things. I'm very fortunate to have other people. Like when I first started out, I was working with Ken Bozak.
Yep.
Being able to meet a lot of
face to face yet.
Are you planning on attending shitcoin?
Maybe. I will be there for Bitcoin 2022. There's other reasons I'm in the area. So
okay. Well, so shitcoin is April 5th and 6th.
Yep.
And Bitcoin is 7th, 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And the 6th is a industry day, so it's not open to the public.
Right.
So the 7th and 8th would be the main conference general admission days. So if you happen to be in town,
I will be.
The 5th and 6th shitcoin, you should come out. They're looking for speakers. You can apply for speakers on the website, and I'll be speaking. So just something to consider.
Send it over to me. I'll take a look at it. I will be arriving on the 6th. Right now, that's the plan. So I need to go look at when, but I can make my way there for sure. Just
cool. We'll definitely talk before then.
Yeah.
And again, I got links for your website, for your YouTube channel, for your Twitter, and for your Patreon. So they'll all be in the video description.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise. Likewise. Let me wrap up the video, and we'll continue our chat here for just 1 second. But ladies and gentlemen, again, make sure you're checking out the Papa Joe channel. If you're not already subscribed, go over there and show some support. Subscribe to his channel. Look forward to some content with Papa Joe in the future on Rice TVx solo as a contributor, and for other things that we're going to be doing. If this is your first time ever watching any of my videos and you've gotten this far, then I would encourage you to make sure that you are subscribed, explore my channel, check out my backup channel, and I will leave you with this. Be blessed, be the change, practice change.